Good afternoon. I'm Brian Murray, and I direct Duke's Nicholas Institute for Energy, Environment, and Sustainability. I'm really delighted to be speaking now with John Kerry, a former U.S. Senator, Secretary of State, and currently the U.S. Special Presidential Envoy for Climate. Secretary Kerry, thank you so much for joining us. We're honored to hear from you as we announce the Duke Climate Commitment to marshal our university's collective resources, talents, and passions to pursue climate change solutions. Duke is working to infuse climate change across all aspects of our mission and across all parts of the university. The future demands that we tackle climate through all sectors and disciplines. So what do you see as the key areas where we should be building solutions-oriented collaborations and coalitions?
Wow, Brian, that's a big question. First of all, congratulations on the announcement, and congratulations on the desire of Duke to continue to lead. You always have in so many ways. But we're in a really difficult place right now, to be honest with you, because the world is not responding fast enough, and the science could not be more clear. There's no debate anymore about who's responsible for what, how it happens. This is about mathematics and physics and some biology and chemistry, but mostly physics and math. And there's no ideology in what we're doing. I hope people understand that. I, as a public person, am responding to the best science that we are interpreting from the IPCC, from thousands of scientists who've studied this now for 30, 40 years intensely. And prior to that, many others have studied for a lifetime. So the truth is the entire world has got to come together more aggressively in order to reduce emissions. The great challenge now is to create virtuous grids, sustainable practices, and be able to tame the beast of how we have chosen to power our vehicles, power our homes, turn on the lights, heat. That's the culprit, is the way we've chosen to do it. And now we have to transition to a clean energy economy. There is almost $1 trillion of venture capital now moving in that direction. There are incredible young entrepreneurs. I've met many, not all obviously, but many, who are doing really exciting things with new processes for lithium, how to extend our accessibility for electric batteries, different kinds of battery storage. I think I was in California recently and saw a 100-hour battery. If that can be brought to scale, it's a game changer. I mean, there's so much happening right now. And a university, particularly one like Duke, really has a responsibility to be helping to lead the community to embrace these new practices. The results will be a far more virtuous economy within which we're living, cleaner, healthier atmosphere, surroundings, communities, and safer, because we will not be subject, as Europe is right now, to a dictator who decides to weaponize the provision of energy. If there isn't, in what has happened in the last year and a half or so, a strong statement about the degree to which we need energy independence, all of us, we need to be deploying renewables, building the new energy economy. And universities ought to be among the first to be making sure their grid, their offtake of electricity is clean, that it's going to come and be used in ways that are thoughtful and sensible without waste, that we're beginning to transition off of fossil fuel, or at least unabated fossil fuel. And the principal option there is really the possibility of gas for some period of time, but we're going to have to reduce the emissions from gas too if we're going to get to net zero by 2050. So everything you do, the dining rooms where food is served, the food chain, the supply chain for goods and services, the vehicles that the university uses and drives, the type of energy that you're drawing and what you're, how you can share and save and perhaps create a far more creative grid for the communities around you. I mean, all of these kinds of things now are imperative to be taken into consideration by large entities, big consumers. And so that's, I'm sure you're thinking that through in every respect. I mean, lots of universities are now signing up and starting to be far more conscious of the choices they're making in terms of their campus, how they run it, and what the choices are for the longer term future.
Yes, I mean, that's exactly what we mean when we talk about integrating climate through our entire mission, not just education, research, and public service that a lot of people think of universities when those areas come to mind, but also our campus operations as well. So we need to walk the walk. You know, you mentioned several decades worth of science and data, and climate has been a core issue for you for a long time. In the Senate, which is when I first interacted with you several years ago as Secretary of State and now Special Presidential Envoy. So what are the climate challenges where you think we need new leadership and new voices in order to push us forward?
Look, there's a mix here. We need everybody at the table. We're working right now. I'm working. I just was in New York yesterday for an entire day of meetings with finance wizards, with NGOs, people who will measure what we're trying to do and tell us whether it passes environmental muster or not. Does it have environmental integrity? These are all kinds of things where we need people who are weighing in. But we've got to make some big decisions, and we got to move a lot faster than we are. The science has told us we have to reduce our emissions by 45% minimum over the next 7 years in order to keep alive the prospect of holding the Earth's temperature increase at 1.5 degrees Celsius, and in order to be able to have a shot at getting the net zero by 2050. If we don't do enough between now and 2030, we can't reach net zero by 2050, barring some amazing discovery of direct air carbon capture and utilization, or something that just changes the equation in a miraculous and fundamental way. But I don't know whether it's going to be youthful energy and creativity or older experience and time in the laboratory that's going to produce that. But we need everybody on deck. I mean, we really need everybody. If the United States of America went to zero tomorrow in terms of emissions, we still wouldn't win this battle, because we have China, India, Russia, Indonesia, Mexico, South Africa, Brazil, Saudi Arabia, a group of countries that are in the 20 largest emitters in the world, who are emitting 80% of all the emissions. So if we're going to win this battle, we got to bring all these players to the table simultaneously. And that's the race we are now up against, frankly. It is winnable. I don't want anybody listening to this to be depressed and say, oh my God, we can't do it. That's wrong. We can do this. 65% of global GDP came out of Glasgow with legitimate plans that hold the Earth's temperature at 1.5 degrees. But now we need the emerging economy world and the less developed world, but still powerful. China is the second biggest economy in the world. They happen to also be the largest emitter in the world, 30% of all emissions. So we need China to be part of this solution at a faster pace than currently moving. And I think it will take a fair amount of experience at the table to help bring people together to be able to get that done.
You referenced the accomplishments in Glasgow, which was last year's global climate meetings. And in November, we have another one coming up in Egypt. That's another critical moment to make progress on the challenges we face. For you, what does success look like for the U.S. coming out of those meetings, and what are you hoping for?
Well, we're more than hoping. We're working as hard as we can towards an outcome that we can help control and make happen. Specifically, I mean, I'm leaving tomorrow to go to the DRC, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, where we will have a pre-COP meeting at the ministerial level, my level, and we will be working at trying to make sure we're shaping the solutions to come out of Sharm el-Sheikh. And those solutions need to be, number one, the 65% of global GDP with legitimate plans needs to show that they're moving towards the full implementation of those plans and that we can achieve that. And then the plus is the 35% that didn't sign up in Glasgow needs to begin to sign up, or at least raise the game, be doing a lot more than they have been doing to date in order to accelerate our efforts coming out of Sharm el-Sheikh. So those are the two pieces: delivery by the countries that made the promises adequately in Glasgow, and a new level of ambition put forward by those countries that didn't do that. In addition, we need to come up with a real finance mechanism here. We need to attract private capital to the table in a concessionary form so that we can leverage the deals that will deploy the trillions of dollars that are needed to affect this transition much faster. We think we may have a mechanism to try to do that. Not everybody will love it, but I got to tell you, if we don't produce the concessionary funding to help some of these nations make the transition, we don't win the battle.
So I think what I've heard in our short talk today is, you've really defined the enormity of the challenge. You've also defined the enormity of the opportunity. And what I feel like I'm hearing from you is, roll up the sleeves. There's hope, but we have to roll up the sleeves. We have to use everybody in our country and across countries in order to achieve that progress.
Well, my honor to be with you. I'm really delighted with what you're going to do. And I just amend one thing you said, if I can, please. It's not just that we're working towards it, and we can do this. We absolutely could win this battle. This is within the realm of human capacity, human behavior, decision making. We're the ones who created the problem. We can solve the problem. We know much of the things we need to do to solve the problem, but we haven't yet found the political will to make some of these decisions and to move fast enough. So I hope, I am optimistic. I see things happening in the private sector that are going to develop new ways of producing energy. The electric vehicles, the charging stations, the hydrogen, green hydrogen, direct air carbon capture, maybe even fusion, possibly small modular nuclear reactors that are different from things that have gone before. There's a lot happening, but we have to harness that energy more effectively than we are today. And we have to get more people together in this enterprise. I'm not going to be political, but I will say you got a couple of Republican senators in North Carolina, and we need them to join in this battle. It wasn't one Republican vote that moved to put together the Inflation Reduction Act. Now, they may have had differences with the economics of it, but climate deserves a unified Senate, and it deserves more political willpower to get where we have to go.
Well, I feel like you've raised the flag and you've raised the bar for us, and we need that motivation. And thank you so much for that. And again, I wish you the best of luck for you and for all of us as you head out there and try to get this deal done and moving forward.
Thanks. We can use some luck. Thank you, Brian. Take care. Good luck to you.
All right. You as well. Thanks, sir.